What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and today I'm back to talk about, you guessed it, Warhammer 40K. So a few days ago, I talked about both the best and the worst Primarch in my opinion, with the best being none other than Sanguineous. I think this guy is universally loved. He's a badass when it comes to fighting. He has the charisma to rouse up armies for his cause, and the dude just shines every time he's on the page. For the worst Primarch, I gave you guys a really controversial one, and we'll get into the comments in just a little bit, but I said it was none other than Roboute Guilliman, the first Primarch, the first Loyalist Primarch, to make his way into Warhammer 40K. And my reasons for that was that every time this guy fights against a heavy hitter, he always needs help or else he's gonna die. He almost died in the 30K era, he almost died against Mortarion, Magnus, Fulgrim, and even though he's not the best combatant, I just think he's just too bland. I mean, there's not really much that signifies him as being like this awesome, super special guy, but he is the one that we needed most. He's a tactician, he's super logistics, he knows all about how the Imperium should be run, and that's what he's doing exactly right now. He's running the Imperium, he's keeping it afloat, all the while still fighting, even though he's not the best fighter, so he is trying his best. But in my opinion, your best is not enough. I think every other Primarch has something that makes him more appealing, be it dedication to the Chaos Gods, really awesome armor, a theme that suits them perfectly, but yeah, he just doesn't do it for me. So apparently you guys did not agree with Guilliman being the worst Primarch. I would say about 95% of the comments was basically you guys defending him, and we'll talk about that right now. So Ad Mortem says, I think you're counting the L's and W's very subpar for Guilliman. For one, he saved Dante. That's a huge W. He saved Terra from the High Lords without compromising his stability. He 2v1'd 2 Primarchs, albeit for a short time, for being the worst fighter, and that's a pretty good win. Let's not forget that he brought his planet into control faster than any other Primarch. He brought his empire to be the largest and the cornerstone of the Imperium, and he kept it together even after the heresy. His legion staved off the Tyranids on multiple occasions, not the first. Those fools were too busy trying to cover up their dirty little secrets. Guilliman's genius does not end with him. It runs through his teachings to his sons, and through them to the Imperium itself. He is one of the only reasons there's any sense left at all in this entirety of the Imperium. Else literally everyone would be a religious zealot at this point. And let's not forget, he may lose fights in a 1v1, but his sons have never failed. And his legion is the single most organized and at the time, ready fighting force that the Imperium has. Just look at every other legion. They follow in their Primarch's footsteps, which a lot of them have done jack shit in the past 10,000 years. You, sir, are 100% correct. The Ultramarines played a pivotal role in the whole siege of Terra and the Horus Heresy. They were the largest legion, they could provide the most space marines, and they were the reason that Horus did not want them to arrive on Terra, because they would unfortunately ruin his plans. So he did everything in his power to allow the Ultramarines not to land on Terra during his assault. Guilliman, his codex has made the entirety of the Space Marine legions into chapters, and they have a fighting force that is structuralized, and it's a failsafe so that the heresy does not happen again. And up to this point, you are correct. He has been preventing the heresy from happening, although chaos is slowly but surely one-upping the Imperium time and time again, just like how we saw in the events of the Arcs of Omen. So yeah, you are right. Guilliman is not worthless, he's not useless, he does do a lot, and he is currently doing a lot for the Imperium, but I still think he's just too bland. Like the second worst Primarch in my opinion, I'm gonna get flack for this too, but I think is Dorn. Like, he's just a stoic defender. I mean, yeah, he's badass in like his fights and stuff like that. Dude's got beef with Perturabo and the Iron Warriors. He's pretty cool, but I still think that him and Guilliman are just too bland for me. Like, give me somebody with a rich backstory, like the Night Haunter or Angron. Those have more interesting facets of their lore, their personality, their psyche that we can explore, where I feel like just Guilliman and Dorn are just kind of like generic, if that makes sense. But continuing on, let's go ahead and read what Calm McDonald P has said. I disagree about what you said about Guilliman as well. The way the flashback is worded, Guilliman came to grips with Fulgrim only to be heavily intoxicated by a fentanyl-like narcotic on Fulgrim's armor that didn't affect Fulgrim unduly due to his insanely high drug tolerance. Roboot's administration of the Imperium Secundus and current Imperial Lord Commander were pretty significant accomplishments off the battlefield. If you want to take a look at the worst Primarch, I'd almost certainly have to say that it's Varys Manus. Lorgar are one of the 2 lost Primarchs. A close but certifiable second worst might even be Mortarion and Angron, whom both got bodied twice by loyalist Primarchs. You're right, the Chaos Primarchs tend to lose more often than they win, and I feel that's because of the way you have to write stories. They're the bad guys, they can't win at the end of the day. So they do get their butts handed to him time and time again. Angron, although he's lost against Sanguineous and the Lion now, he's still way more interesting to me because of his lore, with him being a gladiator, all about honor, being betrayed by the Emperor, and having his mind, body, and soul being corrupted by just anger and the Dark Gods. His ascension to becoming a demon prince was also pretty awesome. And even though he loses more, I still think like his sculpt, his personality, who he is being controlled by anger and Khorne is much more interesting to explore than just Guilliman being a really good logistics person. Again, I'm not discrediting you guys by Guilliman being what we need now. I even titled that in the video, Guilliman is the worst Primarch, but he's the Primarch we need the most. So, I agree with you guys there. Switching over to the other video, the best Primarch, where I talk about Sanguineous, you guys for the most part agreed. Cornerboy73 says, I think Sanguineous is the safest, most orthodox choice for most fans, and the only one that they would likely agree to go along with if their own favorite wasn't in the running. I mean, by this point we've spent so much time with him, he's had a lot of content put out over various years, and he's been highlighting his abilities, virtues, and heroics as well as his flaws ever since. Much more than someone, for example, Corax or even Ferris, who we lost so soon into the story. I guess my other contenders for best Primarch would be that of the Lion, Roboot Guilliman, and Rogal Dorn. Yeah, I agree there. Sanguineous does have a lot of time on screen, so to speak, so that's how we get to know his personality, his flaws, his weaknesses, and just see his growth and character arc throughout the years. It does suck that we lost a lot of Primarchs really soon, and some of the Primarchs we haven't even seen yet. So who's to know what the 2nd and the 11th could have become if they weren't lost to the annals of history due to the Edict of Obliteration. Maybe their return might change that, and it'll be something super interesting. Going by with the whole Lion, Roboot, and Rogal, those are also really good contenders to be the best, because obviously they're all loyalists, so they're all fighting for quote-unquote the good guys. Again, the Lion seems to be really cool. He has a bunch of mystery. The whole Fallen and the Risen storyline, the Arcs of Omen, really painted him as the warrior that the Imperium needs right now, and we saw that going toe-to-toe against Angron of all, and coming out on top shows just how much of a badass and expert fighter he is. But now I want to see how he plays into the grander scheme of 40K, not just fights, but as to how they're going to better the Imperium now that you have Guilliman and the Lion working together, and also how is he going to react to his own Legion. So the Dark Angels have a ton of secrets. A lot of these secrets could be considered heretical. So how is he going to reprimand them? How is this going to go? Will we see a schism between the Dark Angels where we have like the inner circle fighting along with the Lion towards a betterment, or the inner circle betraying the Lion and going into the route of the Fallen? A lot of questions that I'm sure hopefully will be explored in the following years. But yeah, I agree with you there. Kirby Ball 97 says, the worst Primarch will always be Lorgar. Dude is one of the dumbest people in the universe, and that's saying a lot when you have the Space Wolves ooga boogaing around all the time. So, I know a lot of people agree with you there, saying that Lorgar is the worst, but I think he has one of the most interesting viewpoints in all of Warhammer 40K, and he did have the last laugh. So Lorgar was a religious zealot, considering the Emperor a god, and we see him go through a interesting journey, finding out what gods are, who the gods are, the chaos gods, etc., worship and stuff like that. and him writing the Lectitio Divinatis, which eventually became the Imperial Truth, which is proclaimed and spread as gospel throughout the entire Imperium currently. Like, the dude won. Like, he said the Emperor is God, and what does everybody in the Imperium think? There's a God Emperor. So I don't think he's the worst because of that. He could be the worst fighter. Dude lost against a stampede of Carnifexes, an avatar of Cain. He was about to die against Corvus Corax, but then the Night Haunter came in and saved his ass. So yeah, he's pretty weak, but then he gets a Super Saiyan power-up, so to speak, and he's a badass, literally like pushing around Horus and basically bullying him. So I think he's one of the most interesting of the traitor Primarchs. And that's what we have with Satar. He agrees with me here. He says, well, it's up to debate as to what best truly means, but my vote goes to Lorgar. At first it was Horus because the Emperor said so, and chose Horus above all of them, and everything else is just heresy. However, the Emperor humiliated Lorgar, and what did he do? He pulled off a crazy underdog revenge story that brought the Imperium to its knees, led to the death of Sanguineous and the Emperor himself, let the galaxy burn, and made the Imperium betray its own values. What a plot. Exactly, man. You are 100% correct there, and I couldn't agree with you more. It is an underdog story, and he does go from like rags to riches in a way, and he's still alive, so there's more to his story to be told. But yeah, that's all I got for this one, guys. Let me know more of your thoughts down below, what you think is the best Primarch, who is the worst Primarch, and why, and maybe we'll continue this in a part 2. If you guys do like what we do here at One Mind Syndicate, like, subscribe, comment, share would be great. If you guys want to support us even more, we do have a Patreon page where you guys pledge $1 a month. That helps us to bring you more 40K videos, or you can support us here on YouTube via Super Thanks. Again, if that's not possible, just watching the video is more than enough. This has been the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.